Mistakes may have been made.
And we are back for another episode of Dead Last Cycling. This week, we're racing on stage 3 of the Zwift Gravel series.
Yumezi Grit, guys, we're straight into the climbing. I have not gone with a gravel bike today. I've gone with the S-Works SL8 because it's level 5, which should overall be faster than my Cannondale. Obviously, that's not exactly how it works out. Got to make the gravel boys work on these tarmac roads.
Usually, a road bike in a gravel race wouldn't make a ton of sense, but Yumezi Grit is a fairly even split between tarmac and gravel, featuring a gentle tarmac climb right out of the gate and then a steep gravel climb later on. Because my road bike is fully upgraded, and because for 30 seconds the steamroller power-up cancels out the gravel bike advantage, it felt like, for me, the road bike was going to be the right choice. It also gave me an inbuilt excuse that if I do terribly, I can just blame the bike.
It's strung out here because we've got probably a 50-50 split of bike choices, which honestly makes this a lot more interesting. Will the road bike be a mistake? I don't know. I will say this, the decisive climb is gravel.
Despite the decisive climb being gravel, because of the tarmac climb leading to it, in theory, anyone on a gravel bike would be already on the limit and struggle to push on the gravel.
Here we go, gravel time.
The fast start and equipment choices had already split the peloton. Being that I was on a road bike, I was towards the front, but was not confident in my choice.
Man, this gravel climb is going to be hard work. Mistakes may have been made.
We were less than 4 minutes into the race and my legs were already screaming. People were really hitting it today. Zwift racers are always quick out of the gates, but this lead-in, throwing us straight into 2 climbs, was melting the group. I had to work really hard to stay at the front, but we had an attacker who was blasting off into the distance already.
That guy's got a big lead. That's true, I think he was with us last week. Maybe he doesn't know we've got 2 laps.
This was way too early for my taste to be off on a solo adventure.
Got to stay connected to these 3 boys over this climb.
And here's the real challenge of Yumezi Grit, especially if you've gone the road bike route, because the gravel climb asks you to go hard up the first section, gives you barely any time to recover, and then has a steep kicker to finish you off.
Oh, these guys are pushing really hard.
Our little 3-man group had a small gap, but this early in the race, I probably needed to be more patient.
Like the gravel boys are coming back. Oh, I think I've gone off too hard. Man.
Too hard or not, gravel climb 1 was at least out of the way, but we'd have to navigate it twice more before the end.
Bro's 10 seconds on us. If he can just TT it the whole way, that would be chapeau.
Realistically, there was no way that was going to happen, and at some point, we'd be all back together, or at least the front 15 of us would.
267 average for the first 7 minutes. Not on my bingo card, and not desired.
Not a lot of watts for everyone, but a sizable effort for me, and naively, not something I'd been expecting. I'd figured that people would take the lead in, at least somewhat cautiously, but it looked like today, people had really come to race.
Brutal lead-in done. God, I'm dripping.
My garage gets bombarded by the sun all day, and despite having the jet engine like VacMaster on full blast and another fan in support, I was struggling with the heat today. It might be time to start rocking an ice vest. It could be a win-win, cool me down a little and cover up the underdeveloped pasty torso.
So as far as I'm aware, a road bike on gravel loses 72 watts and a gravel bike on the road loses 36 from rolling resistance.
72 watts is a big advantage on a climb, but with it being relatively short, if you're already fried or dropped by the time you get to that climb because you were losing time on tarmac, then you can't make your advantage on the gravel pay.
Whew, that is a nice cinematic shot.
I thought for a second I'd messed up my camera, but apparently this route likes to spice things up a bit.
20 seconds on the guys behind, so I think they're done for. Can't tell who is on what bike here. I'm seeing mostly road bikes, but I'm sure there's 1 or 2 gravels in here as well.
I'm not the best at identifying bikes at a glance, but from what I could tell, it looked like a lot of people had road wheels on, so there was a good chance we'd already dropped the gravel riders, but if any were still with us, they were about to be put under pressure once again.
Back on tarmac, little climb here.
This time around, we rode the tarmac climb in a much more relaxed fashion. The pace was still hard, but it wasn't quite as full on, probably because everyone like me was still feeling the lead in. Like last week's gravel stage, I wanted to try to race aggressively today, at least if I could, but for now, I needed to save some energy.
Try to be more efficient here than everyone else.
Being efficient meant sitting in. This little drag was too fast and our group was too big for anyone to get away, so sitting at the back before moving up on the gravel was the play. As we hit the gravel, straight away, the pace lifted. This time up, we had a bulldozer to pop, which would give us 30 seconds of blissful tarmac-like conditions.
Bulldozer pop there, that guy's gonna shoot up a bit. Trying to save mine for the second part of the climb. Might not be able to though.
If I'm anything, I'm stubborn. And I think it would have been the smarter play to use my steamroller early here to help stay connected, or just trusting the group dynamics to bring me back later. But instead, I got to work dragging myself up through the dirt, and I did manage to stay on with the front few, but my heart rate was on the limit and I was struggling to catch my breath.
Breathe.
Gangatano, who must have been feeling great, attacked off the front again, but knowing I had the steamroller ready to go, I didn't fully panic and I was able to ride up to the back of his wheel without having to go too far into the red. In any event, it was obvious that we'd be grouping back up, albeit in a reduced number.
Alright, we're back together. I probably didn't need that push in the middle there. Probably could have been more patient. Okay, 5 of us, 6 or 7 behind. Wonder if they'll come back. Looks like that later dig guy's working.
One by one, the group behind started to work and it was clear they'd come back to us, so I turned my attention, relatively incoherently, to my plans for the final climb.
Obviously this is going to depend on how people ride this climb. But the goal, I think the plan, is if people do the same, is to do the same. Try to hold the power up till the second kick, but just go full on it this time, if we can get there.
Translation being that if people use their power up early again, if I could hold on and use mine late, I could launch an all-out attack and perhaps get a gap and hold it into the finish line. But first, we had some cinema to enjoy again.
Beautiful cinematics once again. The boys rolling by as the dust blows behind them under the beautiful fall leaves.
Following that welcome distraction, it was time for the final tarmac drag. Pre-race, I had been thinking that if we had a lot of gravel riders with us, that I might try to launch a very early attack at this stage, but looking around, I saw mostly road bikes, which would make that attack a fool's errand. So I settled in again to try to ride this section as efficiently as possible. Overall, I'd not ridden this race as smart as I could, or should have. I'd spent a lot to bridge to breakaways on each gravel climb, and I was conscious that some people had been riding it a lot smarter.
Iman has ridden this very smartly, always on the back.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. In Zwift races, your goal should be to spend as little energy as possible before the decisive point of the race. Race smarter, not harder. Today, I definitely didn't do that, putting in at least one more dig than I needed to. But either way, going into the final gravel delight of the race, I was still with the front group and in with a shot.
A lot of people holding.
People were holding their power-ups far more than last lap, but 1 or 2 people did pop theirs and start to push, which was enough to fracture the group. I had to go really deep here to hold on, but as we crested the first part of the climb, I was on the back of the leaders, dodging as much air as possible in-game and sucking in as much as I could in real life. Power up in hand, I got ready to see if I could launch it up the kicker, but I wasn't the only person with that idea. As soon as I kicked off my own attack, so too did Gangatano, and it was all I could do to stay with him for the first half of the kick. And the group was hanging on just behind. As we pushed over the top though, a gap had opened, but there was no way I'd be able to get away solo.
I'm empty.
I didn't break any power records today, but perhaps because of the increased temperature in my garage, I was really on the limit aerobically, and as we dropped back into town for what looked like it'd be a 2-up sprint, I was struggling to catch my breath.
Oh my god!
I had two choices here, either try to catch Gangatano off guard by launching early, or go late off his wheel. With how gassed I felt, I wasn't confident I could hold him off if I went early, so I just had to hope I had a little bit more kick.
Ah! Oh, too strong. I just couldn't pedal, guys. I couldn't pedal, I'm sorry. I got a second, I just couldn't pedal. I just couldn't pedal. I tried. Chapo, Gangatano.
Another potential win narrowly escapes us. Whether I could have gone harder on the final climb or tried something on the descent, I'm not sure, but I was completely empty at the end, so probably not.
That was really hard, guys. A lot of fun. I think the road bike was the right call. I just didn't have the legs. Thanks for watching, guys. If you can like, comment, or subscribe, I'd appreciate it. I'll see you guys next week.